had that amazing opening.
Warn me next time. Yeah, that was cool. All right, we're gonna get 5 viewers this time.
Okay, so should we introduce ourselves first? Let's do that first. Okay,
Alright.
so you know who it is. I'm Brenna.
Ted.
I'm very out of breath. And Austin.
Hunter. Carl.
Neji.
And welcome to another episode of Cryptid Conversations. So
Yay.
we have to throw in our fun little disclaimer so we don't get sued.
Who's gonna sue?
I don't know who's
Like
gonna
a
sue.
monster?
but
Is a monster
I don't
gonna
know
sue
who's
us?
gonna sue,
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
they will.
a cryptid.
Randy Newman.
So on this podcast we do talk about cryptids and we do like laugh and make jokes and stuff, but we do recognize that cryptids do often have cultural significances and religious significances and stuff like that. So we're not laughing at that. Don't do it. Anyway.
Please.
Anyway, so we're all in costume because today is the last day of Literacy Week. So I thought I would pick a fitting cryptid for today, who I actually researched a couple days in advance.
Can they read?
And not day
Are you
of.
serious?
Are they in
Yeah!
You didn't research during my class? That's
No.
special.
I did not. An American favorite.
This cryptid can read, right?
Yes.
Uncle Sam, American favorite.
Everybody's favorite
Me.
blood-drinking, fang-having vampires.
Oh my
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, I was like a vampire.
Neji, I love you with my entire heart, and you light up every moment that I am with you.
You lit up my.
Yes.
It's a song. All right.
So-
Tell us about vampires.
Okay, so, you know, we all know the basic stuff. They're pale, they drink blood, they have fangs.
You're pale.
I don't.
Undead.
I actually don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't have.
There you
Yeah. The same way that you guys didn't know about Santa Claus, I don't know about vampires.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They can't be seen in mirrors. They have to be invited into your house.
I know
They're
about
undead,
vampires.
and they're often skinny, pale, and attractive. So,
Wait, skinny, pale, and attractive?
yes.
Even when they're thirsting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen Twilight?
Did you not?
Have you seen my
No.
babysitter's a vampire?
I watched all of
Have
it.
you seen?
I love my babysitter's vampire.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
Okay, tell us more.
Pale, attractive.
Yo, let's 2 out of 3.
Attractive? I don't know about that one, Chief.
Well,
Hey.
it's a nice hat you got there.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks.
wait. Sorry.
That's a great.
So, I do have some other interesting stuff that we didn't know, or that I didn't know at least. In European folklore, vampires would visit their loved ones and cause mischief or death in the neighborhoods they inhabited.
Oh
So,
wow. That's
Mischief, death.
I know, yeah.
They're allergic to garlic.
They're allergic to
allergic
fun.
garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they wore shrouds and were often described as bloated and of ruddy or dark contents.
Ooh.
No, I'm not bloated. I'm just. I'm normally fat.
You're swole.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're thick.
All right.
oh my
Good day.
gosh. So how we actually know vampires dates only back to the early 19th century. There was this one book that got really popular that described vampires like that. It is called...
Dracula.
Not Dracula. It came before Dracula.
Nosferatu.
I don't remember what it's called.
It's a language. Isn't it?
What?
Nosferatu is
Oh, Nosferatu. I thought you said
Yeah.
Esperanto.
No.
And Nosferatu? No.
Yeah, he's the one who brings the lights
Transylvania.
on.
SpongeBob. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's the name of the book?
I don't know, but...
Because it's
But it
all
was
about
good.
Transylvania.
Yeah, but it was a book and it was really popular and
Hotel
people liked
Transylvania.
it and the vampire in it was hot.
Hotel Transylvania.
Oh yeah.
2
I'm
and 3, but not the.
Hotel
I like the
Transylvania
third
was
one.
kind
Third
of
one was
good, not gonna lie.
There's a cartoon now. It's like
Should we
4
also-
episodes.
State that vampires are very like a pop icon in everything and
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's
Cause,
why I picked them.
That's later on.
My babysitter is a vampire. That was a movie to begin with, and I just remember that.
It was a movie.
Buffy
It was a
the
movie to
Vampire
begin with,
Slayer.
and then it went into a TV show, and it was like
Oh,
really cool.
Really good. Yeah, I love
I
it.
have some
Buffy the
fa-
Vampire Slayer.
I have some
That
vampire
baby said it was
appearances listed.
hot.
I hope you're ready.
Nosferatu.
So early folk belief in vampires has sometimes been ascribed to the ignorance of people's process of decomposition after death. So we would see dead bodies and be like, that's a vampire. And how in pre-industrial societies, people try to rationalize this by creating the figure of the vampire to explain the mysteries of death. It's also connected to a set of diseases called porphyria. So I have some information about that. Was linked to legend. It was linked to. Was vampire stuff.
Yeah, really.
Was linked to legends of vampirism in the 1895 and received a lot of media exposure. So porphyria is this group of disorders that affects the nerves and the skin and sometimes your like nervous system, how your body works and stuff. So the most common symptoms are pain in the abdomen, nausea or vomiting, rashes, blistering, discoloring of the skin, nervous system dysfunction, sensitivity to light, fast heart rate, confusion, seizures, and the, get this, desire to drink human blood!
Are you serious with the thing?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, that explains a lot.
Yummy.
Yeah.
So
Spicy blood.
those all sounded like vampire
Sriracha.
problems. There is also another one called Renfield syndrome or clinical vampirism, which this is where it gets really spicy, you guys.
Okay.
It's an obsession with drinking blood, can happen sporadically, and is sometimes sexual in nature.
Okay, yeah,
that's-
we don't need to be
that's
talking about that.
There's our spicy.
Keep it
Toxic
cheery.
for the day.
Basically, it sounded really similar to. I've been watching a lot of serial killer documentaries recently,
Oh,
and
God.
it sounded a lot like how the brain
so good
happens
for you.
with that, you know, where it's like some stuff goes on in childhood and then it changes when they become an adult, and then it's like, you know.
I have to start watching those. Those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to start watching those. They look interesting.
First 48.
Forensic crime.
First
Let's go.
48.
True
It
crime.
was listed in the DSM for a little while, and then they took it out because there was like almost no research about it.
What was vampirism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
the guys who got it in the DSM were like making up people and making up events and like
Oh.
forging documents because
Wow.
they wanted it that bad apparently. And there was a parody of the DSM written about it. Also similar to paraphilia, which is similar. Anyways, there were what is called vampire killings. So what I have written is serial killers Peter Curtin, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, it looks German, and Richard Trenton Chase were both called vampires in the tabloids after they were discovered drinking the blood of the people they murdered. Similarly, in 1932, an unsolved murder case in Stockholm, Sweden, was nicknamed the vampire murder due to the circumstances of the victim's death. So that's spicy.
Ah.
Yeah.
You good, Carl?
So, do you have any? Oh.
Are you good?
Can we turn can we become a vampire just by getting like if a vampire?
Oh yeah, like a
bites us?
thing.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay. So,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
Is it like a delicate bite? Of course.
Yeah. What
But
was
is
Does
it
it
real
actually
though?
work?
Oh, well, I don't know. We have to assume that it's a cryptid.
But like,
So,
when somebody gets bit by a vampire, it's like either they are vampire
Or
or they're
not.
dead.
Or the
yeah,
vampire lunch.
well, okay.
Because like in Vampire Diaries,
Here's the thing, that's the variance
Kind
in
of
legend, is because in some legends, it's if they bite you once, you become a vampire.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's they have to drink all of your blood for you to become a vampire, and sometimes there's like a ritual involved or something like that, where they have to replace your blood with theirs.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot of variance in vampire lore because vampire lore is so big.
So which one is right, though?
Shine.
I don't know, you all are looking at me and asking me as if I'm
You're,
a vampire.
yeah, you're the expert.
Small, pale, attractive. It's like
Yeah, thank you.
you know.
This is all the in the VCU, the Vampire Cinematic Universe.
All right, so what other vampire?
Yeah.
There was a thing called the vampire cult, where this guy, he was like, I want to say 18 or 19, and he led this cult of teenagers, where he claimed that he was a 500-year-old vampire named
Fred.
no.
Frank.
Oh, wait.
I am 500 years old.
Oh, I
My
didn't-
name is Fred.
I didn't put down what his vampire name was, but
Oh.
basically, he led this cult, and then his girlfriend didn't like her parents or something, so he went to her house, and she left with her friend, and he went and killed her parents, and then they went on like a 2-day run, and then one day the girlfriend called her mom and was like, hey, we're really poor, we need some money, please, and then she was like, well, not her mom, her grandma. And
I was
then
gonna say,
grandma-
her mom
yeah.
was like, I'm dead. I
Yeah,
died
no,
2 days ago.
No, that's not
Her
personal.
grandma, and the grandma was like, well, where are your parents? And she was like, don't worry about it. And she was like, I'm calling the police. So,
Yeah.
They can't finish the phone.
So yeah, they got caught because the girlfriend was a wimp and he
Yeah.
called himself a vampire, basically.
And is he
then-
alive now?
Wait, did he drink their blood
Yeah,
after he
got
killed them?
he got life in prison, no parole.
Oh, life in prison? He's immortal.
Yes, yeah, I think.
Wait. Did he drink their
Here
blood?
1,000 years.
No,
Oh,
he just also led a vampire cult.
Oh.
But no blood.
Yeah,
But
see,
no
no
blood.
killing parents.
Blood.
Yeah, no, and he didn't even like.
Boyfriends,
It wasn't even.
leave those girlfriends' parents alone.
I feel like that was set out of fear.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Dear Ayla Marin, I love you very much.
and like the thing was, it wasn't
Ice cream
even-
coming home, don't worry.
And I feel like the thing was, they weren't even like bloody murders too. Like there was no blood involved. He bludgeoned them.
You
So
would
he
have
was
killed
very
his parents.
bloody.
What?
No, you would have to kill them.
Yeah, he bludgeoned
Don't
them.
do
It was blood trauma. So there was like little to no blood involved.
So
After leading this
he's a
so-called
fraud.
vampire.
He's a fraud.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
fraud.
He's a
Oh,
fraud.
man,
I mean, if you're
But is he
gonna.
still alive?
You wouldn't
Yeah.
kill my parents though, right?
No, I love your mom. She's so soft.
Yeah, but what if
What do you
like
mean?
it's because you have to because you're a vampire? You
Oh.
wouldn't.
You
right?
never
No, your
have
dad still
to.
terrifies me, and your mom is so soft.
Okay, we're good.
I would.
Yeah, and if you're a vampire, like, you know, you can suck the
Yeah, you
blood
can easily go after
of
Alexa.
Animals? Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like
even
in
if
my
it's not as-
babysitter's a vampire, that's what she
Yeah.
did.
Even if the animal is not as satisfying as human blood, you're not murdering a person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she
I
was like,
say do
We're
the.
friends.
Yeah, I
Less-
can bring a guinea pig
Yeah.
tomorrow if you
Make a
want.
little.
No, we don't
Yeah.
kill.
Make a little smoothie.
Oh my.
That should be an order at Tropical Smoothie. Come get your blood. Yeah.
Maybe you could set that up, right? You work at Tropical
Don't
Smoothie.
fire me, Gina.
Oh my
Can
god.
you imagine the headlines?
Gina, if you fire her, I'm always open.
Wow.
Go-
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. As if you would have time.
I work
at the
theater. I'm at theater even when I'm sleeping.
Yeah. Hunter's like, I'm dead, but I'm at the theater though. Like,
They buried me under the theater so I can be there as a ghost.
I'm not vampire, I promise.
are you sure? Because you two are pale
Pale.
and thin, and you seemingly never sleep.
Mm.
Wow.
I've never seen you eat.
Now here's one. So there's sunlight over there. It's not shining directly on us, but if a vampire were with us, would the vampire be like, you know, parched out by that
I don't know,
sunlight?
I didn't
Or does it
find
have to be direct sunlight?
I don't know. I didn't find
And
that
my
in,
babysitter's a
It has to be direct
vampire.
sunlight.
They wore glasses.
They did
wore
wear
sunglasses.
Yeah, see that's no. Like, okay, my pupils think it's dark, I'm safe. What?
Well, they wore like glasses and like hoodies with like
Hoodies
their
and
hoodies
stuff,
up.
yeah.
Okay, so what about their like gloves on their hands or something? Or
No, they wore long sleeves most
No,
of
they
the
just
time.
pockets.
Yeah.
It was like the cool kids that you see like in high school with like the leather, like in the 80s,
Yeah.
the leather jackets and stuff.
They're like,
Sunglasses.
ooh, I'm
They were
so
like,
cool.
That's 50s.
I didn't see.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry, 80s. Yeah.
You
I went
know,
to
so
high
you
school
know all
in
of
the
it.
Alright.
I didn't see anything about the light sensitivity in like classical vampire lore.
Oh, really?
Is that
Yeah.
Well,
you?
no, in that condition, the medical condition that like
Yeah,
the
that was porphyria.
or whatever,
Yeah.
light sensitivity is part of it.
Light
So,
sensitivity and
Easy for
rashes
you to
and
say.
blistering.
rashes. Yep. See.
So Twilight, what's
Are
good?
you sure?
Because like when Edward went in the sun, he was just like shiny like a diamond.
Diamond,
Yeah, he
no.
was
It,
so
was, it
shiny.
really wasn't that deep, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
I don't
no
think
offense
you should use
to
that
all the Team
seriously.
Edward stands, he didn't look that attractive. in that
Yeah,
one.
you do.
Yeah, I gotta back her up. I don't remember the other team, but I was the werewolf.
Yeah.
Not
Team
my
Edward. Team Edward.
Jacob was that.
There you
Well,
go.
he was fine. You know, Taylor Lautner,
Shark Boy.
Oh.
Sharkboy.
Boy,
Yeah, he was in Sharkboy and Lava Girl.
The sit roll.
Oh, and I know off the top of my head another thing that vampire legend came from.
Yeah.
And also connected to zombie legend.
Wow.
Where
Zombies. Kill me some zombies.
before
No.
like medical stuff, like before they could actually check if you were still alive,
Mm.
if somebody like was like, oh, she's dead, they'd just bury you. So like really quickly. So they would
Yeah.
bring up these bodies again, and the fingernails and hands would be all torn up
Yeah.
and stuff, and the
Scratch.
it would
Yeah.
be all pale and stuff, and
Yeah.
from trying to get out. And so people would see that and be like, oh, she was a vampire, you need to put more locks. And so they put more locks on when they were burying the dead people
Oh,
or the alive people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's
the
another
napping
thing.
take a
table.
really big nap.
Yeah.
That's another thing where
Mm.
vampires and zombies came from.
Yeah.
Zombies are cool.
don't vampires turn into like bats? Like, isn't that like a thing?
Yeah.
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 How does that work?
Now, how do you like?
I don't know.
How do you get that small?
I assume that.
You'd be like the world's biggest bat.
No, I
No.
assume that would put
Have you
vampires
seen
also
Cats
under
Arena?
Shapeshifters.
Yeah, but like the
But like,
lamest
where does all
kind,
the
they only
mass
have
go?
one.
You know
They're a
that.
shapeshifter.
Maybe they're really dense.
Oh, they're a
bats.
shape.
Because I mean, in Hotel
Because,
like,
Transylvania,
have, like,
the
laws
dad
of
gets
conservation.
pretty tiny.
I so need to see that.
But
Wait, are you
the-
talking about? No,
Yeah.
you're talking about the cartoon.
Yeah.
I thought it was
All
in there.
three of
Oh,
them.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying,
Lovely. No, I've seen them. They're great.
Like straight up, like
But,
I'm
the first
200
one
pounds,
is
right?
Yeah.
So if I was a vampire, I'd be 150 without all my blood. I have a lot of blood. Anyway, right?
When the same blood is Brenna.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, if I were to become a bat as a vampire, which I'm not,
That's exactly what
You're not pale enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not pale enough.
All
to
that
be
fat.
better.
would like it'd just be a really dense 150-pound bat,
Oh.
You'd be a
How would it
I'd be a thick bat too.
How would it fly?
very
I feel
strongly.
No,
Not
because
that
like, I mean,
know.
I very out of breath.
Austin,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be like kind of hard to fly if you're like, because I'd be like,
That's
I
why all
don't know, I
That's why you
vampires
gotta have bigger
were. That's
wings.
why all vampires were skinny and lean.
yeah.
Oh.
They drank blood.
Thick bats.
I'm definitely
They
not a
don't.
vampire.
Wow.
They also don't eat.
Vampires fashion.
Yeah, I mean.
All right,
although-
now
Wait, vampires don't eat food.
They only eat blood.
Yeah. I just have where vampires have been in media. Apparently there was a lot of vampires in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like there was a whole part on the vampire wiki about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like 3 pages of just vampires in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Is that like
It's an anime. It's a shonen anime, so it's an anime meant for guys. And it's like
Sure.
there's this family line and they're all like big buff dudes and they have these things called stands, which are like these dudes that fight for them and have magic powers and stuff.
You're not in frame.
And thanks. And
no, go back.
no. And apparently there was a lot of vampires in JoJo.
Do you think JoJo personally added any vampire lore? Did you look into that much?
No,
or
it didn't. They just took classic vampire lore and put them in anime format.
I wonder if at some point, you know, the lore is like locked down, like you can't
Yeah.
innovate anymore.
I don't think so. I don't think that
When
because
was the most recent
folklore is
vampire
folklore.
lore adding?
There's that
That's
one.
not how it works.
Wow, bad at research, aren't you?
Is there a vampire?
What?
There's still like vampire shows on the CW because there used to be the Vampire Diaries, but it changed into there's like a new one. I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
a
but did they
what's
add
it called?
any,
Yeah, but you can't add to vampire lore.
It's
If you-
just all the
I mean,
same.
add to their power set.
if you add to vampire
Oh, it's called
lore,
the originals. That's what it's called.
that's
The originals,
like,
yeah, that's it.
Like if you add to
I see
vampire
that.
lore now, that's just in your show. That's not vampire lore.
Oh.
Yeah,
So why so?
because that's just how it works.
Wait, so like, are vampires just like not around anymore?
I guess.
Was there like a vampire extinction?
Well, yeah, if you are immortal,
Mm.
then
They are around.
where are you? Unless
The
have they
vampire
all been,
hunters.
Are they
yeah,
hiding?
maybe they've all been
Plain
seen.
sight.
Dog
You
the
know-
bounty hunter got all of them.
You know what? Seriously though, because vampire lore kind of stopped around the time of the Black Plague. So I'm wondering if all the people that died during the Black Plague,
Were vampires?
or
No,
like
the
They're
vampires
gonna
were
need the
starved
black
out.
plague to kill the vampires.
Yeah.
Vampires were starved out.
Because there was no blood.
Oh, or because the blood was tainted.
Yeah.
The blood was
There
tainted.
was no edible blood. Like how would
But-
we have lettuce anymore?
Oh. But they don't have, disease goes through like the bloodstream, but vampires don't have blood in their bloodstream because they don't.
Well, no, they do when they
Yeah.
suck blood.
And like,
They have it for a while.
if I take all of your blood and you're still alive somehow, and I inject AIDS right into you, like right into your brain,
Oh.
you'd still get AIDS.
But I can't die because I'm undead.
No, you're like still like you're not
I'm
dead
immortal.
yet.
There's just so many things we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any vampires watching this.
Answer our question.
Let me know.
Please email
Email
us.
me.
Put it in the comments
Comment down below.
Yeah, please.
Try your
Down
best
there.
not to contact us live in person. Not that we have anything
Yeah,
against
please.
being around when you get hungry.
Unless you want
Yeah.
vegan
No,
cookies.
No reason.
No vampire wants vegan cookies,
I was
Carl.
up
That is
for it,
not
you
a
know.
market.
No.
I'll take some.
There's
My friend
gonna be
will.
like a couple like really weird edits where we just kind of cut, and it's just gonna be where like
Why are you?
every time Carl speaks.
Whoa!
What
What is going on here?
What's Carl done so far? He's just
Plug
started his own
nagging.
company. That's all he's done.
Constantly.
You've not constituted.
Yes, he has.
I have.
Added to
Alright,
your
alright.
I have indeed.
Instead of dragging him, see, I'm learning.
Wow, look
Did I
at you.
use
I'm
it?
so
Yes!
proud.
Yes! Hey, Marin, I used a word right. Thank you. Hey, wait. Okay, ready? Watch the monkey. The talking monkey. That's right.
Student. Everybody stand up.
Guys, I did that. Yeah. I got coaching last night.
I give it back to
My
you.
daughters were so disgusted with my lack of dabbability that they coached me for like 20 minutes.
You need to tell them for next week you need to learn how to whip.
Yeah. I think it's taken them
Okay,
like 4
really
years to get
I'm
me to dab.
gonna get you
Alright,
to
so-
Fortnite dance
Yeah,
by June.
Fortnite dance? Oh.
Oh, you have
Please
to.
don't teach them the Fortnite dance.
I'll teach you the full default.
No!
Alright, so,
Okay.
what else about that?
I think a last important thing to mention before we wrap it up is that there was a vampire in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
And
The original movie or?
In the show.
In the show.
Oh.
there was a vampire in the Spider-Man comics.
Oh.
He's a
Oh.
villain. His name was Morlun, and that's all I know.
Wow.
He Sony's gonna make a movie about him.
Huh.
Outside of the current Marvel movies, but I don't want to get in that because I'll
No.
get mad about that. But
No.
like,
It's in the
Yeah.
MCU or it doesn't count.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
trash.
much.
Yeah. Gotta
So-
stop right now.
I don't think, Carl, do you know how we wrap up these episodes?
No.
No.
we
Okay.
don't know.
Alright, good.
So how we wrap up our
Is it fair to say?
It's okay.
how
It's
we wrap
okay.
up our episodes is we rate the cryptid, in this case vampires, on whether or not you would go on a date with them. So
I mean,
That's a big one.
okay, the vampire in my babysitter's the vampire was really hot.
no, I'm saying
She was really hot.
classic vampires, like
Yeah, I've got
Nosferatu,
some stuff to
okay?
watch, I think.
Like
Dracula.
no like Edward, no
Pennsylvania.
my babysitter's a vampire, no my
Wow.
vampire's a babysitter. Classic vampire. Dracula, Nosferatu, those. And
And
for
the
that,
Agricultural Transylvania.
and him too.
That's Vlad, I think. Isn't his name Vlad? Vlad the Impaler? Is that him?
Maybe.
That's a real guy.
Lad.
It's the guy
So-
that's not based on.
I'll start it out. I'll start it out.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
gonna raise my
Yeah.
voice and stand up.
Right, Spidey.
I think that I would definitely. I'm gonna go 7 out of 10
Oh.
because one, they're really attractive
Mhm.
according to folklore, and I don't know, they're kind of like they've been around for at least a couple hundred years. They definitely got cash. Like
That's true. Most of them look rich.
Well, do they even need cash?
Yep, it's
Yes,
Vlad the
I
Impaler.
agree.
Everybody
yeah, well, they might just
needs
have it around like
cash.
if you picked up a penny every day for 500 years.
You
Nah,
You got
$500.
500 pennies, yeah.
Wait, no.
But if you
no.
think about it, it's 365 days.
A penny every day for
But
5
there's
years.
365
You
days.
would not have
No.
$5.
You
Yeah.
said 500
That's what you guys
years.
said.
You said 500 years.
Austin, if you pick
Every
up a penny
day.
every day for a year, how much money would you have?
Let's see.
$1.
Hold up.
A dollar.
I got it.
Yours is 360.
You have
Days.
this many pennies.
265.
Oh, I can't.
Okay.
Oh,
Divide that
365
by
days.
100.
Oh.
I can't do math.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
like-
A penny.
Bucks,
Okay,
next
so a
one.
penny a
That's a
day.
lot.
That is
It's like,
Okay.
182
that's
thousand
You're
five hundred.
absolutely
that's
right.
rent for the month.
You're absolutely wrong.
Wait,
Yeah.
because
For
you're
the month after
365
But then you
days in a week.
But then you have to divide by 100 to get
The dollar.
The dollar.
But if you invested it and
Yeah.
and the compound interest
Crypto.
would be
Yeah,
amazing.
a penny.
We haven't gotten
like
to that class yet. Right.
a century ago
Yeah.
is worth more now than it was then, right?
Ooh.
But they're still worth the same
No, it depends
now.
what you do with the penny. If you just put the penny under your
rock.
Yeah, but I'm
under
saying
a
like,
rock, then it's worth
if I'm
so
with
much
a
less
vampire
than it
who's
used to be.
smart because they're
invest the
500
penny.
years old.
Okay, you invested in an index fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rise with the market, rich.
Crypto.
Yeah,
Crypto, right?
yeah.
Like, what if this vampire I'm with is like an early adopter of crypto?
Cryptids with crypto? Okay.
Oh, I see what you did
I
there.
spent
Huh?
Cryptid coin.
all $400 of my 500 years of pennies,
Okay.
but now it's worth $3 billion because
Which
I'm
is-
an early
that's a lot.
Bitcoin adopter. You know?
Oh yeah. I hope you sold the
Yeah, you
Bitcoin
Yeah,
about
yeah.
a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go
A
You
sugar
know what?
vampire.
Oh wait, so we're back to dating.
8.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Oh, 8
because
instead of 7?
money, because they're hot, and I don't know, they probably treat me well.
Yeah.
Do things I want them to
We
do.
got sick
They have
of you.
experience.
A little snack and right
Yeah.
here. Alright,
They probably
Hunter?
turn you into a vampire. And I don't that.
Put a 10 out of 10.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a big one.
Wow.
Maybe it's because
Yeah.
he's a
You're,
vampire.
you're
Why?
sounding like a vampire here, Hunter.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Am I gonna need to invest in some
Are you-
wooden stakes?
Are you gonna tell us why?
Yeah. So like, they're old, right?
Yeah.
But they never age.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, vampire in their 20s would still technically be in their 20s, right? They can also turn me into a vampire.
Well, they look like they were in their 20s.
Still.
Yeah.
But they could be in their 200s.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they can
they'd
turn
be
me
hot
into a
forever.
vampire, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And then vampire family, right?
Mm.
That'd be lit. Also, they know everything and anything. They'll have money. They know the best place to go on dates because they've been around forever.
Okay, they've
Yeah,
done
it's like,
this for.
I saw this coffee shop be built, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be like, sick. And then yeah.
I used to live in this church when it was a little chapel.
When it was not a church.
Yeah.
I don't think vampires can enter churches, can they?
Unless they're invited in.
Oh yeah, they have to be invited in.
Okay, Carl?
I kind of view it in a different way. I probably give it like a 10 too.
Really?
Yeah.
So why is that a different way? Like, what's your reasoning?
Because at first I was thinking about it, I'm like, she probably gonna eat me. But now I'm thinking about it, if she turns me into a vampire,
Yeah,
I might have a vampire family, and I'm gonna live
a
forever.
vampire family. Would you have little
Yeah.
vampire kids?
Carl,
Yeah, you're lit.
were you thinking about four?
What?
Sit it down.
Maybe.
Alright.
We're not gonna explain what four is, but I'm on to you.
I'm not.
I don't know.
We need
I
to
don't-
tell him, but no.
I probably don't
Okay,
need to
can
know
you
that.
tell me
I don't want to know.
I'll tell you
Ignorance
later.
is bliss.
Thank you.
From our teacher.
Is it?
I'll tell
Okay.
you later too.
Alright,
Okay.
so 10. Neji?
Okay, 8 or a 9.
Hmm.
I don't know. Okay.
8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. Because they're attractive and stuff, and so that's cool, you know? And I don't know, it'd just be kind of cool to date a vampire. You'd be like, yeah, this is my vampire partner, bro. That's who I'm dating, you know? And, oh, can they fly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, take their Oh,
They go take
can
me
they take you
flying.
with them? That'd be fun.
Yeah, they turn into
But
bats.
in,
it'll
but in
drop you.
Hotel Transylvania,
Oh.
but in Hotel Transylvania, she was able to carry her mans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I want to get carried, so
Vampires
that sounds
have, like,
really
super
cool.
strength.
Can they carry me? I'm real
They're
big.
strong.
Vampires have like super strength.
Don't you remember how they,
Oh, yeah, they're
how,
strong.
how,
Oh my
how
god, it's like
they-
getting held, but like extra.
Oh, that
Oh.
sounds nice.
Extra held.
Yeah.
Okay, then if it's extra help, then you get a nod.
It's like
Okay.
a ladder.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can show you the world. And they actually can because they've seen it. Because they're old.
They're like, I was around when the pyramids were built.
Yes. Definitely did a vampire.
Yeah.
Okay, I am not so sure about my vampire rating because here's my thoughts. So I'm not all for the shape shifting and the looks and stuff, but I'm thinking about vampires have been around for a really long time, so they're gonna know where the aliens put the stuff.
Okay, there you go.
Oh.
That's
Not
what
onto
I'm
that.
So you would go on a date with a vampire just to like find out about the
Just to-
alien. It's like
just to
dating
outsource
somebody
my
to ask him about his best friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's just
No, that's
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 wrong.
cold.
That's
So
wrong.
cold.
I'm giving
That's
him,
like
I'm
that's
giving him
like
a solid like 4.
solid 4. Can 4 be solid?
that's like me and you on our first date was like, so can you tell me more about Hunter?
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
That's cold.
You're sitting there, you're like, I'm king of the cryptids, and all my date wants to know about is this other cryptid class.
Hey, you
Yeah.
know what, Austin?
Yeah.
Would you rather me have asked you about Hunter or would you rather me
Oh.
have still said, so this is a practice date, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay then. Alright. Like Brenna, I would give them a low score because I'm thinking like the murder thing isn't flying with
Oh, the
me. And
vampire
plus I would
thing,
feel a little bit
Not all
judged
vampires.
because if somebody turned me into a vampire right now, I'd be a 52-year-old vampire. I'd be like a chubby, out of shape, dad looking grandpa. And I don't want that.
You get shaped
And
over time.
if there's somebody who became a vampire when they were young and attractive, they'd be judging me even though they're 400 years old. Where do they get off? Where do they get off?
Wow.
So, yeah, 3. 3. I will not be judged.
Wow.
I have no issues. No issues. I have none.
Anti-vampire bullying campaign in this room.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So we're on it. We're
Everyone
on it.
matters.
We're pretty evenly split about vampires, I think.
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's so much vampire
Yeah, no,
lovers.
2/3.
You'd all be eaten by
Because you
vampires.
guys are lame.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Wow.
Yeah, we're innovative about
That really
vampires.
hurts because it's true.
I'd give them
I would not.
And that's it.